grants is actually the heart. I would say is the art of research, because if you don't have research grants, how do you get to carry out quality work? You've got to carry out quality work. If you want to have a work of impact, then you need grants. You can't run research with your personal money, because research will take so much. So your personal money cannot, suffice to do research. You actually need research grants. Research that does not have impact will not be useful. But the truth of the matter is that we have had some research outputs in University of Ibadan that have been traded, that have been outside, that people are using. We have quite a number of them. Not all of them, but we have quite a number of them. And that's why University of Ibadan is encouraging town and gown relationship. By next month now, we're going to have what we call UI Research Fair. That is where we put all our researches out, people coming from the town to look, and there we can actually get people that will partner with us. So research output is a major thing that can bring the town and the gown together. But like I said, impact is the issue. We must get to an area where we do research of value. We look at the problem in the society, we carry out research that will solve that problem, and then you can have people buy into it. But if we don't carry out such research, then all those projects will be on the bench. They'll be there. But not until we do translational, we call it translational research, whereby you do research to solve some people's problem, and then they buy into it, and it becomes something good.
There are opportunities for us to expand the frontiers of our research as we continue here, either as academics or as students, undergraduate, master's level, postgraduate. Even some of us, we have postdoctoral students in our midst, and the grants are really out there, but if you don't search for them, you won't really find them. And I believe this is a very profound opportunity, especially for our upcoming students and potential researchers that are about to join the league, and those newly recruited lecturers, academics in our midst, because the way forward really is research grants, research grants, and research grants. We don't want to go back to those era where some of us, like I was telling Professor Mutubedu, had to use our salaries to fund research. But now I think there are opportunities that we can explore if we really look for them.
Professor Oluwafemi Oluwafemi is a professor of biomedical science and a group leader, phytomedicine and phytochemistry group, the Department of Biochemistry, Biological Sciences, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Belleville, South Africa. His research focus is on natural products and health phytomedicine. He has successfully supervised over 25 honors projects, 24 masters, and 12 PhD students, and currently supervising 8 doctoral and 2 master's students at various stages of their programs. He has also mentored 5 postdoctoral research fellows. Professor Omotibeju has published over 250 scientific articles in peer-reviewed journals, 21 chapters in books, editor of 3 books on diabetes, authored and co-authored 6 books, presented over 70 papers at international and national conferences.
No research without action. No action without research. Research is seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody else has thought. I think that's research. Research is formalized curiosity. It's spoken and pride with a purpose. Research is creating new knowledge, especially at the speed and representation. Knowledge that's created, the PhD doesn't really work. I believe in innovation, and that the way you get innovation is you fund research, and that is by Bill Gates. You fund research, and that's what we want to talk about here. The best research you can do is talk to people. The you can't do research alone. You have an idea and share it with people, and importance that hear more. And if you discover things you never thought of. So the best research you can do is to talk to other people. That's why collaboration is very important. Research means that you don't know that you are willing to find out. Nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically and treat all that comes under the observation of life. That's research. If you know what we were doing, to not be called research. If you don't know, that's what you're trying to find out. So let's start very simple. I'm not going to go with much time. This is a very simple presentation. Research grant is a form of money awarded to an organization or individual to fund a specific research project. That's the research grant. It comes from different sources briefly. The grant can be grouped into various types depending on the criteria that's used in the duration of the grant, the focus of the research, the eligibility. So understanding the various types of research will help you identify the appropriate funding you need to apply for. So let's briefly at the types of grants available so that for those who are doing students might begin to think of what, or those who are interested in postdoctoral research. So talking about project grants are the most common type of research grants awarded to independent researchers to support a specific research project, usually for a specific time, of course, and funding. It could be a person or a group of persons. Most of the time, group of have a better chance of securing a grant rather than an individual. Of course, you can't work alone, therefore you need people to work with. They have program grants. Most of the time, these come to institutions where the government could have a grant and the university can apply for a specific project. I know my faculty, for example, have such a grant with the whole. And then you have fellowship grants that are granted for, it could be for postdoc. So, and various organizations do give this type of grants. Then you have the travel grants that you can use to attend a conference or do a specific, or you want to go and carry out some of your work abroad. We do have such, or even for various students at our institution, where students can travel to another place to either collect samples or meet the collaborator or spend some time to do part of the work. And of course, have the equipment grant. My colleague, Professor Tunde recently secured a very big grant working with University of Stellenbosch, University of Cape Town. Then he has another collaborator at UWC, University of the Western Cape, and they were able to secure equipment grant from the Japanese government, of course in collaboration with the Department of Science and Innovation of South Africa. And now we have seed grants. I was in the US a week ago for a conference, and I met another Nigerian from Morocco. And he told me he received a seed grant from his university to start his research. This is very important for people who have just come to the university. They don't have grants, and the university do have such grants. But so it's very important to search for some of these grants. But some universities, you don't have to search for this kind of grant. They have them. And when they employ you as a new graduate, as a new employer or researcher, they provide such a grant. And of course, the industry sponsor grant, where you can liaise with a specific industry, and they give you a specific amount of money to do research that is related to their own focus or their own interests. So grant based on the sources of funds, have grant from local government, state, federal, private foundation grants, family foundation, public foundation, community funded funds, corporate grants, building or capital grants, and of course you have niche or industrial specific grants. These are different grants that. So we're saying research grant, what is the way forward? Of course you agree with me, one of the key area, one of the key aspects, the key driver of research grant is proposal. You have an idea and you want to sell this idea to a sponsor, whether they'll be able to fund your research. You have a very good idea, you don't have the money to do it. You don't just go sleeping or complaining. You think of an innovative approach on how to solve this problem. You identify a problem that could be beneficial to the government, that could be beneficial to the department, to the institution, that could be beneficial to the society at large, or a specific group of patients. You don't just go to bed and sleep or cry or mourn. So you think of what to do. So grant proposal can be seen as a plea for money or fund. Is actually the way forward, or one of the ways forward. It could be a form of monetary donation to support the research, a plea for equipment. Remember we talked about the different types of grants. We talked about equipment grants, so it will also be a plea for equipment. You are making a passionate, a scientific plea. You are making a plea based on merit. You are making a plea because you have identified a problem, you want to solve it, you don't have the means to solve it. You are making an intelligent, scientifically based plea that will convince the donor that you can offer something if they are willing to come on board and support you. It could be a plea for infrastructure, build a laboratory or laboratories. One of my colleagues at University of Lagos, we actually did our masters together in biochemistry here in Europe. So they approached a very known personality to build a lab for them, and we was able to build a lab for them. Of course, you agree that the person will ask for their proposal. You have identified a problem, you mentioned is unique, or you have an idea. You don't have the funds to solve the problem, to implement the idea or meet the need. What do you do? The question is, what do you do? Do you raise up your hands and cry, or go to bed to sleep, or complain? What should you do to solve the problem? What should you do with your idea or your need? And that's why research proposal comes in. Answer to the previous question of questions. Writing followed a specific call for funding is the answer. Of course, not just any kind of proposal. A proposal that meets specific criteria. A proposal that will undergo a peer review, that will be subjected to very rigorous review. And peers actually determines whether your proposal is worth funding or not. Most of the time, it's not even the founder. Most of the time, your peers decide whether this is worth funding or not. Or there are times where the proposal may be good, your colleague may say it's worth funding, but it doesn't really interest the sponsor. So that's another factor. However, to convince the donor or donors is another challenge. Although you have an idea, it's a noble idea, it's a good idea, it could be beneficial to different types of people. You've written a proposal, but your ability to convince the donor is a very big challenge. Do you think they are interested in your problem or idea or need? That's an important question. Even if they do, you will need to convince them beyond reasonable doubt the problem deserves their attention.
In Nigeria, you were talking about pricing and this. We have this issue in Nigeria. If you apply for a grant today now, you have cost or so amount of money because of instability in our economy. And by the time the money comes, you are being given the money, so many things would have changed. So it's a major factor that affects us on this side of the world. But we know that one day we'll get there. One day we'll get there. I have not really lost hope in Nigeria. I believe Nigeria will still be good one time. And then also, for grants that come in, since our university gets the money, you know, at times before the university even releases the money to you too, you will run around, and then they now release the money in piecemeal. Many a times you don't even get the money completely. And then you have already put a timeline, as you have told us. The timeline is no longer, you know, feasible again. So it could be very frustrating. Meanwhile, the granting body is waiting for you to give a report, and yet the money is not coming out. We have that issue. Maybe you will give an advice on how to work around that. Also, I want to charge us this money to be effective. It is more of collaboration. But here we have more of competition. More of competition. I want to outsmart this person. I want to outsmart that person. If there's something that I think we should look into as researchers, we can look into collaboration, because with collaboration we will achieve more. It's like everybody is running, we want to achieve something, but together we can achieve more. So I am throwing that challenge to everybody here this morning, that together we can achieve more. Also, if somebody has failed in one proposal, it does not mean that that proposal is not good. It might just be that that proposal is not fitting into that granting body. So we shouldn't be discouraged. That one proposal failed does not mean that that work is not good. I would rather give it to somebody to review for me, and then I now put it into another place. So I want to encourage us also, if you have put in a proposal that has failed, it does not mean that you have failed. It might be just that that proposal is not fitting for that place, or there's a need, you know, to do some correction and also to repackage. Also, the Prof talked about impact. We should be more of impact rather than have so many. It is not about having too many teeth in one's mouth. It's about having them white. Even if it is just 22 instead of 32, I would rather prefer that than to have 34 and they are not white enough.
Where is the source of the money? If you are in South Africa, you are in Morocco, you are in US, you are in Nigeria, where is, you can write that, but where is the source of the money? So it's that's a peculiar problem, but it's a solvable problem. I don't know the Jean and him said it's like collaboration. Go around UI, if you see serious work going in the lab, it's not Nigerian money. It's not Nigerian money. You have to collaborate with the people who are on international partners and co. But there's nothing wrong with that. The goal, when you put it inside, it's not localized to one country. So if the information can go to one bank, the way the world is going now, the money too is in one bank. It's global form. But the question is, who are the granting people? The grants now, you can't get them in the US if you don't have a partner in Africa, you don't have a partner in Europe. Because they know from COVID, if I solve my problem, but my neighbor's problem is not solved, my problem is not yet solved. So the grants are now being globalized. But people are doing where the grantable people within the system. So the money is there. There's now it's a global form. Let's work with it. To grant them next time.
In the University of Ibadan, we actually having research grant is a plus to you. Number one, you as an individual, your having grants adds to your visibility, adds to your CV. So you are first the beneficiary of your research grant. Then it now translates to your students. Your students also benefit from your research grant. It makes you more visible because you have quality work. So you present quality work. At the end of the day, it also adds to the visibility of the university. So the university also benefits at the end of the day. But primarily, you are the first beneficiary because it is you that first benefit from it, and then your protegees also benefit from it, and then the university also benefit from it. So it is like in stages. And once you have one grant, it actually opens the door for other grants. But if you have never had one, it is very difficult. But when you start having one, start from the small, and then it graduates, you keep having. And once you are consistently having it, presently there is we are presently working on review of our promotion guideline, and having research now, having grant is part of it. It's not compulsory, but it is an added value to whoever has it. So it accrues, some points are accrued to whoever has grant. But it's not that if you don't have it, you can't be promoted. No. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So people having grant is going to be a plus to us, and it is now in our promotion guideline that takes effect from next year.
You need grant to do research because one can't use personal money to do research. Research is very expensive. Therefore, it's very important to source for grant, know various organizations that offer grants, and know when, because we must have a research focus, we need to be able to do research. So research is important, but you need grant to fund that research. That's why research grant is very, very important. Otherwise, one will be redundant, you'll not be able to make progress, you'll not be able to publish in good journals, and with time, you'll not be relevant. In some universities, you might even lose your job because the belief that publish or perish is still very much alive. So that's why research grant is very, very important.
One of the ways is for Nigerian government and other organizations to take the issue of grants seriously. Without good grant, you cannot conduct good research. And it is good research that makes society develop and keep improving. Our situation in Nigeria is the way it is because, at least in part, there are inadequate grants. Government does not provide grants. There are only very few granting bodies that are indigenous. Like one of the speakers observed, when you find good work going on in any laboratory in a Nigerian university, particularly the University of Ibadan, you find that it is a foreign grant. So we also have to cultivate or take it as a responsibility to ensure that there are local grants. We often say that times are hard, things are difficult, Nigeria is poor, but I am not too convinced that that is the situation, because given what we hear and what we see about how money is being diverted to some other sectors that for me are irrelevant, the conclusion one could only draw is that we do not consider provision of grant as a priority. And indeed that should be, because that is what will make our society progress. So my admonition this afternoon will be to earnestly appeal that one, government itself should take the lead, and other agencies should try as much as possible to make grants available for scientists in Nigeria. I know there are some complaints, but those complaints also exist in other societies where grants are readily available, and we can surmount some of those problems, but the benefits are honestly immense, and that is what we should focus on. Thank you.
When we look at the things in the context of our country, the policymakers, the government must know that when you don't invest in people, you are not going to get anything out of it. In academic institutions in Nigeria, or academicians in Nigeria, you have the best brains anywhere on earth. And let me tell you, Nigeria will remain the same if the government does not invest in them to get the best out of them. America, for instance, bring out NIH grant every year so that researchers will put out their best so that there will be invention for national development. Nigeria, yeah, the tech fund, but how many of us get the tech fund? How many people get the tech fund? Even the process of getting it, is it really straightforward or transparent? So there must be a way where grants are available in the institutions and they are distributed to the research groups in the institution so that there will be products that can be applied for national development.
Having grants is, like I said, you can't overflow it. Research grant is important for any institution. It's important, it acts because it brings quality research, and quality research is part of what gives you visibility, which ultimately helps your university in ranking. So your research output is part, of course there are so many other things that come in, but your visibility is a major contributing factor to your ranking. And that's why you see that, every university wants to put their research output out there, because if people are not citing your work, it shows your work is not having any impact. But if people are citing, that shows it's useful, it's making impact, and then it adds to your own visibility first, and then it adds to your university.
Research grant, one, helps you to do research, helps you to promote innovation. You can use research grant to develop a product that can be marketed. But not all research can be able to do that. Basically, applied research should be able to develop products that can be marketable in different parts of the world. So at times people have done some research, but there are gaps. So you still want to look at those gaps and see how to cover those gaps. So there's always a continuous need for research grants. Apart from you developing a product and marketing that product. The research grant is what they use to do research. Then some of them who develop products can use outcome of that research to continue to do research. Because I recently visited the US where I met one of my colleagues. He has a grant of about $18 million to do research. So, and remember, research grant covers students, masters, PhD students. It covers postdoctoral research fellows. So it's quite expensive. So even if you have a product that you have developed, remember it also takes time to market that product. So while you are still marketing your product, you don't even know how people will receive that product. You still need a research grant to continue to fund your project. Even the product you have developed, you still need to do more research on that particular product. So for example, you develop a supplement that can treat diabetes, just an example, and you want to you are marketing it. You want to do further research on that product to see how it could better perform. So that's why grant continues to, that's why people continue to apply for research grant, even though they've made some breakthroughs.
Like the guest lecturer said, money is very important for anything to be produced. Most research findings you talk about, almost every professor in Veterinary has something that he has done. Most of it were done with their salaries. And there is a limit of testing you can do with limited funding. So this funding, most of them are on paper. There is no money to bring it out as a model or prototype where it can be used. For instance, let's look at power. You want to tell me there are no professors in University of Ibadan who can develop that Ibadan to generate a power for itself? There are people who are experts in energy. They are there. But how are they going to do it? Is it just on paper? There are a lot of design. So even internally, if there is no investment, it can never be used. And that's why you see a lot of things are not used. Because you need money. Okay, you can build it. But all what you have is just some few items. You need money to be able to even build the first. So that people will say, then they invest in it. Company will invest in it. So these products are available. Okay, I went to examine a student, a PhD student, in another university. I will not mention it. In the examination, companies came who are ready to buy the product of the research of that person. It is really done, and that's why there is gap between the town and the ground. But it will take the investment and policy. For instance, if the government make it compulsory for multinationals to support research, no matter how much the percentage is in their area of industry, this thing will change. Because even while they are working, they are coming to see what's the progress. How are we going to use it? Immediately the product of research is out, the industry uses it.
The younger researcher, they need, number one, they need to be mentored. You need to be mentored. Find a mentor that you know is on the path to where you're going. You collaborate also, and then you work hard. You've got to work hard and focus. If you work here and there, today you do nutrition, tomorrow you do cancer, tomorrow you are doing another thing. You are just master of many things. You will not have, you're just doing everything. But you must have a focus. Let your research be along a particular line. And at the end of the day, you mature, and then come out of the tunnel and be an expert. But if you just work here and there, every work, you are not going to be a master of anyone. So that's my advice. Get a mentor, work hard, be focused, and then pray. God is the ultimate the ultimate one that gives the promotion. But the place of hard work, smart work, collaboration, and mentorship cannot be overemphasized.